You're watching Breakfast Television. It's 7:50 now and time to focus on business. For that, we turn to our business editor, Mike Eppel. Mike, we're halfway through the work week.
That's right, actually. So I always forget these things. Because the longer the week goes, the busier I get. So
I know you often forget these things.
It's weird that way.
That's why I take it upon myself to remind you. Listen,
it also means that the time is just flying by, Sarah. And the older I get, the more I want it to slow down.
Every year goes by faster than the last, am I right?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
U.S. President Trump delivered the State of the Union last night. What are your thoughts?
Yep. Well, it was a highly partisan speech, as you might expect. It was very much a victory lap by the U.S. president, talking about the aspects of the U.S. economy that have done very well most recently. You've got a 50-year low for unemployment. The trade deals have been completed for the most part. And, yeah, I mean, it's the partisan divide in the States right now. Trump's approval rating, according to the Gallup survey that was just released yesterday, is at its highest level ever, 49%, which, considering where we are in the election cycle, that's pretty strong for the Republicans. But the political divide in the United States has never been wider. It's all Republican support for the president. The Democrats hate the guy, and you've got this gap. So this was played out front and center in that State of the Union last night. Nancy Pelosi at the end ripping up the copies of the speech for full effect, and then it was back and forth in the political talking points thereafter. But when we're talking about the economy and voting prospects, you know, this morning we got another reading. January job growth in the private sector in the United States was almost 300,000 new jobs. That's a massive number.
Right.
Friday this week we'll get the Canadian and U.S. numbers overall for January, and those are expected to be pretty good as well. Okay. So it all plays into it.
Let's talk lows. We mentioned on Monday that oil was sitting at an all-time low.
One-year low.
One-year low. My mistake. Yeah. How is it looking now?
A little better. The risk assessment on the coronavirus a little bit diminished when we're talking for the global economy. Yes, it's hitting China specifically, but is it having a ripple effect? OPEC has held a two-day meeting in Vienna. The cartel not doing anything. They're staying on the sidelines from this, short term at least. Oil is seeing a bounce on, again, the U.S. economic prospects. We will get the weekly supply levels in a couple of, about an hour's time from the Department of Energy in the U.S. And then Suncor reports earnings later today. That's going to be interesting, considering, of course, the Calgary Energy Complex and how the Canadian producers have been doing with Western Canadian Select. Much below the U.S. benchmark.
Finally, let's talk Tesla. Now worth more than the three Detroit automakers combined, you said?
Yep, that's right. Tesla market value yesterday was $160 billion. That's all of its shares. The shares hit $900 plus U.S. It's doubled this year already. So, $160 billion for Tesla. You add up the market value of Ford, GM, and Fiat Chrysler. Those three are less than Tesla, even though the Detroit three in 2 weeks make as many cars and trucks as Tesla does for the entire year. So that's sort of the disconnect in the market right now. But Ford, last night, their numbers were lousy. Quarterly loss. The Explorer rollout has been delayed. The F-150, their biggest moneymaker, also having some issues on the redesign. Ford shares down 10% this morning, right off the bat.
Well, if your price point is 10 times higher, you have to sell that, you know, fewer vehicles,
Again,
right?
they're betting on the future that Tesla is going to be the leader. What it is right now in electric cars, we'll see if that actually happens. Or some say it's just a cult. No kidding. That's some of the commentary from the analysts this morning, that it's not based in fundamentals.
All right, we'll pick this up tomorrow, all right?
All right.
You can hear Mike Eppel on 660 News at 26 and 56 after the hour. Let's go ahead and take a look at the markets.
This portion of BT is brought to you by 660 News, Calgary's breaking news, weather, and traffic station.